In part 1 of this series about innovating out of a crisis, we looked at the first 2 moves your business should make. Know your users and focus on their needs, and adopt the system of natural selection so resources get directed towards what's working and away from what's not. But doing this right isn't easy, because it requires coordinating the action of other people. And whenever humans enter the equation, things go non-linear. In other words, they stop being predictable. That's why the physicist Neil deGrasse Tyson joked that physics is easy and sociology is hard, because failing to coordinate the action of people kills even the best ideas organizations have. For example, in his book Lonely Ideas, MIT professor Lauren Graham argued that if we look at the history of some of the most important technologies of modern civilization, we find that Russians have legitimate claims to being pioneers in the development of all of these technologies. From the steam engine to the light bulb, from the radio to the airplane, from the transistor to the laser, and from the computer to many other technologies as well. Yet, as Graham points out, Russia, despite being pioneers in all these inventions, doesn't dominate any of these industries globally today. And this is due to a lack of coordinated action across an invention's entire value chain. Let's explore this in connection to a more recent pioneering Russian breakthrough. Sputnik V, the world's first registered vaccine for COVID-19. Let's assume that the vaccine's main investor, the Russian Direct Investment Fund, wanted to use the pioneering success of Sputnik V to create a global powerhouse in the vaccine industry. What action did they need to take to turn their breakthrough into an industry-changing innovation? Firstly, they needed global recognition of the vaccine's efficacy, and that meant getting a positive assessment from the World Health Organization. The WHO would have needed timely, accurate, and verifiable information to assess the vaccine's efficacy, and that needed regular information inputs and a level of transparency about the data being inputted. And that would have required some kind of independent audit to provide assurances. Once the vaccine was approved, the RDIF would have needed to scale up manufacturing so they could distribute the vaccine more widely. This would mean manufacturing both the chemistry of the vaccine and the glass vials needed to store the vaccine in. The vaccine would then need to be packaged to make it ready for transportation, and then all steps for end-to-end transport would need to have been taken care of, such as specialized shipping equipment so the integrity of the vaccine was not compromised in transit, specialized cold storage trucks and cold warehouses for transporting country, while getting the vaccine to its final destination would also need portable ice boxes, and the clinics on the front line would need refrigerators to store the vaccine safely. Now you may say that all this is not the responsibility of the RDIF, and you'd be right. But remember, we were talking about creating a global powerhouse. That means someone has to take responsibility for all these activities, and that someone should probably be the product owner. The alternative is to license transport out to distributors, for which you would need contracts. But now the reputation of your great scientific breakthrough is in the hands of others. Therefore, RDIF now needs a system of quality control, so they can monitor everything in their supply chain. And that would also need transparency and regular auditing. Finally, to achieve global recognition, which is the first step in creating a global powerhouse, Sputnik V would need high take-up rates. And this required an effective communications campaign that addressed widespread vaccine hesitancy. And that would probably have needed a specialist communications unit to answer questions people had about putting an innovative, and therefore uncertain, new technology into their bodies. Now, as everyone in this industry will tell you, this is a very simplified map. But the idea was to show you how a new invention, like Sputnik V, needs a lot of coordinated action if it's going to become an innovation that changes an industry. So while Russia has always had great inventors making big scientific breakthroughs, the key question is, who is coordinating the activities needed to turn these inventions into innovations that dominate global industries? And this is where a map is invaluable, as it helps you identify all the actions that need to be coordinated in advance, so that you don't leave success to fate or luck alone. For an organization to consistently turn new inventions into valuable innovations, It needs the right kind of people. But this isn't just about finding people with the right abilities, like education and experience, to do the job. It also means finding people with the right attitudes as well. Let's explain what we mean. In every organization, there are people who thrive in uncertain situations. These are the people who love the challenge of discovering new things, like research scientists or entrepreneurs. They go where others fear to tread. They know that where there is uncertainty, there are also new sources of value others haven't discovered yet. We call these people pioneers. These rare and brilliant people are the ones most likely to discover hidden sources of gold, like a new invention. But your pioneers need help getting these new sources of gold to market. People who are good at coordinating the many activities involved in this. We call these people settlers. They are also brilliant people who relish this challenge of getting the gold to market. In other words, turning the new inventions of pioneers into profitable products. But everything we do and how we do it evolves, which means that today's high-margin, profitable products will eventually become tomorrow's low-margin, cost of doing business activities. And that means your business will need to adapt. This is where the equally brilliant town planners come in. These are masters of adapting the old ways of doing things to fit the new environment. These are the people most likely to open a factory selling shovels to other pioneers looking for gold. So you don't just make money by discovering and getting gold to market yourself. You can also make money from others trying to do the same thing. So who are the right people in your organization? Well, the answer is, it depends. The right people will be different across different parts of your map. You might use town planners to run continuous user research programs to uncover new user needs. You might use settlers to ensure you're recruiting the right people and coordinating their action effectively, as settlers are able to get on well with both town planners and pioneers. And you would give your pioneers the freedom to experiment while you use a system of natural selection to identify and manage what's working or not. You could also manage the process of identifying the right people by using an off-the-shelf assessment method such as the Curtin Adaptor Innovator Inventory, or KAI for short. This will help your people find roles that are best suited to how they want to work, and this is a process that can be best managed by your town planners. To effectively exploit opportunities your breakthroughs give you requires you to also effectively coordinate the action of multiple other people. This is hard, but you can take a giant step towards this by making sure you've got the right people in place, and this means thinking attitude as well as aptitude. That's why this is the third of our 9 moves for innovating out of a crisis. Don't forget, you can get free workbooks of all the principles identified on this map by emailing us your feedback on this video to contact@powermaps.net. And if you'd like to discover if you're a natural pioneer, settler, or town planner, go to powermaps.net/KAI and discover how the KAI can answer that question for you.